I'll take it. I'll take the lead.
No,
okay,
please.
Everyone.
No, stop.
Hey guys, it's John.
Welcome back to my channel.
And Goldie.
Oh, and here comes Goldie. No, let's get this show on the road. So we're gonna share with everybody how we met. And I think we should start off from the very beginning.
I think we should start off with this being my cameo appearance.
Yeah, I know this is totally out of your comfort zone, but that's okay. You have won. Before we had met, we were both single, obviously, dating.
Yep.
And you were hanging out with our mutual friend.
I was.
And how did the conversation come up about me?
Well.
You said that you wanted to date or meet someone.
No, because you go through the whole thing and you do the online dating, and it's just such a drag. And and that was a brief moment. I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I said to myself, what better way to meet somebody than through people that know me best?
Right.
So, i.e., I was telling everybody.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Hey, friend. No, anyway. So our mutual friend, who I worked with, who I still work with, and I went to him and I said, hey, you know anybody, let me know. This guy's a good connector. And he says, you know what? I think I got just the girl. He said, no, she's great. She hustles, you hustle, you'll be a couple hustlers.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me that he would say those words, but
yeah,
I think it's a compliment for me.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it is.
And then, he showed you a photo of me, and
yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, let's do this.
But you also thought that you had seen me before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had.
On some dating websites.
No, I had.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, no, we definitely had matched
Yeah.
before on a dating website.
Which either I don't recall, or there have been so many fake accounts, online dating websites of people using my photos and stuff like that, and like friends sending them to me saying, this person just came up, and I mean, they would ultimately end up having like weird conversations, but
Let's say it was a spam account, yeah.
yeah, so I'm not sure.
Right. Because you wouldn't have not.
Oh, right, of course. Right. So he showed you the photo, you were like, okay, cool, and then he said to you what about messaging me?
He was just like, yeah, I'll just, let her know. And
okay.
I was like, okay, so what are you going to say? He was like, oh, don't worry about it. And so, a few weeks passed, and then I was like, hey, did you ever message that girl? And he's like, no, I'm going to do it. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. And I'm like, okay, so I go on with my life, and a couple weeks by, I was like, hey, wasn't that girl you going to message for me? He was like, yeah, no, I'm going to do it. And then he's like, I'm going to do it today. And he does it. And I don't think he showed me, I think you showed me the message, yeah. No, I was like, okay, cool. And then he's like, awesome. She says to reach out, got her number. I'm like, oh, that's perfect. I was like, he must have put a really good message in there. And yeah, then I just called you out of the blue.
Right.
And you didn't answer.
No, so first Austin sent me a message. It was basically something along the lines of like, hey,
It was a job interview posting is what it
yeah, it was like, I have a friend. I think that you guys have a lot in common. I'm not really sure what else was said.
He said he's sharp.
Oh yeah, he's a sharp guy.
And then provided a link to my work bio.
Which it had just your headshot photo. And for me, like anytime I am potentially going to meet with somebody, or even if I had just met them one time, I don't know a whole lot about them, but we're expected to like hang out again, I'm doing my online research. I am stalking, I'm going on all their social media platforms, I am trying to find photos, all the things about them, and you don't have any social media. So there was no way for me to find out absolutely anything.
I did have an Instagram.
You did, but you hadn't posted since like 2016.
Yeah, I recall. You were like, hey, are you going to accept my Instagram invite? And I was like, oh, that's
And then
cool.
I did, and I was like, that was useless because these photos are so old.
No, you got to meet 2016 John.
Yeah. But that's a lot different than who you are now. I felt like, I was talking to somebody, and I felt like it did take...
Wait, you were talking to somebody?
Yes, I already told you this.
Whole time?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I ended up telling Austin, like, yeah, you can give him my number, like, I'll hang out with him. And I was thinking, if I'm willing to tell somebody that, okay, yeah, you can have your friend call me, that obviously I must not be that interested in that person. Okay. So that obviously ended. And then, oh, thanks, babe. Was it getting crazy?
No, you're good.
Okay, and then the fact that, like, I didn't know anything about you, I almost think that was better. Because then I wasn't overanalyzing. I didn't have any expectations, which I think a lot of women, when they go on a first date, they have so many expectations.
It was great because I knew like everything about you. And you didn't know anything about me.
I knew absolutely nothing.
It was a blind date.
And then I went out of town. And so, okay, so we made plans before I went out of town.
Right.
We were like, let's grab a drink. And you gave me 2 options in Jacksonville.
I really thought it out too. I was like, okay, she lives here, or roughly here. You didn't tell me exactly.
They're both really good spots.
Yeah, one was closer, but the other one I thought was cooler.
Cooler, yeah.
Right.
And so I commented about the cooler one, and I was like, we should go there. That place is great. So then the day I get back in town, the day comes for us to meet up.
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, and I'm at the other place that's closer. For some reason, I just had it in my mind that day, like, oh, I'm supposed to meet him at X place. Mm-hmm. So I get there, I'm at the bar, I grab a drink of wine, and John calls me.
Well, yeah, this was before I thought you were some sort of like magician and you were just gonna pop out of thin air. I was at the bar at the first place. The place we agreed on.
The cooler place.
The cooler place. And nobody was in there. It was like 4:30. Nobody's at the bar yet. And there's like this, it's like a speakeasy. So, but the speakeasy is not open during like, it was like a Monday or Tuesday, right? So they just had the front door open. I think. And so I'm walking back through the speakeasy. Mind you, chairs are up on like the bar, like it's closed down.
People like obviously no one is here.
I'm wandering around. And then there's this curtain. And for a split second, I was like, is she hiding behind the curtain? Is she that
girl? What if?
Shortly thereafter, I realized
she's not here.
She's not here.
So you called me and you were like, no, I'm here.
You're running late, or you went to the wrong place.
Yeah.
I definitely thought you were just running late.
Yeah.
I didn't think you would go to the wrong place.
But then I said, no, I'm at the bar. Obviously, I wasn't there. So then I'm thinking, okay, because this other place is like 20 some minutes away. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I already got this glass of wine at the bar. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to drink this glass of wine. Not even thinking that you were going to be like, be right there. But you were.
Yeah. No, I was. Yeah. No.
So you ended up making it there and...
No, yeah, I did. Yeah, bypassed a few...
The 5 o'clock traffic.
Laws in the process.
Oh, gosh. And then we ended up meeting at the bar for the first time. And what was your first thought?
She's gorgeous.
Really?
Yeah.
You were not expecting... I wasn't planning... You didn't know I was going to ask you that question.
No.
Okay, and that's really what your first thought was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
I mean, I've seen a lot.
Okay, yeah.
But I thought you looked
true.
amazing.
But a lot of times people don't look like what they look like online. So
yeah, no, you're pretty genuine.
Oh, okay. Thanks. So then we ended up hanging out there, and I'm totally thinking, to be honest, like, oh, I'm having a drink or two with him, and I'm going home. Like, and especially now knowing me.
Oh, wow.
I would never stay till closing, which is
what's only 9 p.m.
Okay, but I still would not do that.
Right.
Even now, right? Like I wouldn't stay till 9 p.m.
No.
Unless we got there at 8.
Which you wouldn't leave the house after 8.
So. Yeah. Okay, so we ended up closing the place down, and then we left, and I was like, wow, it was so unexpected, which I think is what makes it so great, right? Mm-hmm. And what's so funny?
No, I just know where this is going.
Oh and I just was like, wow, we had such a great time, but then after the fact, I didn't hear from you.
Yeah, man, I
didn't say, oh, I had a good time.
Oh, I was playing it cool. No, I think I said.
Okay, I think afterwards you text me and you were like, oh, I had a really good time, but then
make sure you got home and all that stuff.
Yes. And then after, like for 3 days, during the whole week, like didn't hear
I
anything.
wasn't even trying to play like the 3-day rule.
Yeah.
I was literally just like
Busy, weren't you?
I was busy, but I was also just like, man, this girl is amazing, and I gotta say the perfect thing back to her because maybe she's not as interested. We'll see. And so I waited until Friday.
Yeah.
It was Tuesday. You're right. It was Tuesday.
Which I'm thinking the whole time, oh, he must have not really had a good time.
No,
He
man, it was
probably
great.
doesn't really want to hang out with me
No, we had a
again.
great conversation. Yeah.
No, I know, but I could be thinking one thing and someone else could be thinking something.
We were probably both thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So I think you messaged me Friday,
and I was telling my friends, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do some paddleboarding on Saturday. I'm gonna invite Stevie, and I'm like, oh, this girl is like, she got like 1 million followers online. Her schedule's packed out. There's no way she's just gonna casually be available on a Saturday, especially being a realtor too. And sure enough, you were like, oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, she's gonna flake. She's totally gonna flake. She's just being nice. And then you confirmed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I followed up. Like I said, yes.
Right.
I can go, which you were surprised by.
I was very.
And then I followed up with the next day and was like, hey, are we still going or something?
First thing in the morning, yeah. First thing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I was like, okay, she gets up early, got it.
Which you brought up social media.
Right.
And you had initially thought that.
Well, I'm not on social media. I mean, my whole thought was I totally want to be removed from social media. Yeah. I want to focus on work.
But you deleted Facebook because of that.
Yeah, I just didn't want to, it was just time consuming. And I just didn't feel like it was, just a lot of noise. So, but I still kept the Instagram for work purposes. And yeah, that was pretty much it. And
but you had thought about mine and you were like, oh, wow.
Well, yeah, I mean, I figured it was for work, but I also thought probably,
a lot of selfies.
I didn't see a lot of selfies, which was good. I think that's like, you see a lot
Number
of
one
selfies.
indicator.
Yeah. So that was good. But I just thought like it was a big obsession for you.
Yeah.
And most
like
people,
always
most
on
people
it.
did. Yeah. I mean, it was for me at one point, right?
Yeah.
So you have to like really wean yourself off. So you have the followers that you do and everything. I was like, oh man, she's really
into it.
Yeah.
And what's your perception now?
It's like you're on it less than I am. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Yeah.
That's so awesome.
I remember there was it that same date? Was it that day or no? Was it like a fifth or sixth date?
Yeah.
You literally like, I think you
didn't have my phone the whole day.
You left your phone in the car and like, I even forgot it was
I did in
there.
the car. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I should probably have that. And then work was crazy and I was like, oh.
For somebody to have like as many followers as you do and not to even
work too.
Yeah, and work on top of that, and
That
not
was-
even to be. I mean, it was a Sunday, I think.
Yeah.
But even and then not even to know the phone is even near you. Like my phone, I always know it's on me, right? At least if I'm not addicted to social media, I'm still addicted to my phone, right?
Yeah.
And I know that it's always on me. So that was pretty enlightening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a good thing, right?
No, I love that.
And if anything, I could learn from that and even further improve myself.
Well, social media is, how would you say it, like a facade? Like everyone posts their highlight reel, they're posting the good things when they look good, but even like Instagram stories, someone posting a couple seconds out of their day, like let's say I was working and I shared something that I did during the day for work, well then it just has this perception that like, oh, I was doing that all day.
I think most people do it, and they're not to say that there's anything wrong with it because we all want a sense of validation, but they do it for that validation.
Yeah.
And I think what was so different about you is that you're doing it to truly add value.
Yeah.
And it's to add value to people that you care about, to people you don't even know yet.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just, you've curated this message, whether it's, it's through work, but you also have a sense of like vulnerability personally in that, and people like, that's just good, like connectedness. I think it's hard to separate the two.
Yeah.
From, like you get so much of that like validation from that, but then you don't lean into that, and that's some really good
And you have to
stuff.
still like meet people in person and build those, we talk about all the time, those relationships. And
it's a lot of setting boundaries, and I was really impressed by the fact that you were able to do that.
yeah. And then, so we hung out that first time, we met and had drinks. We ended up having dinner and you followed up with a kayak. We went kayaking all day, which this to me was like for me to commit to an entire day to hang out with a guy and be like, you were driving, so like there was no
You were not in control. Yeah.
I had no control. I had no out. Like that was totally different. I remember talking to my girlfriend Christina about it ahead of time, and I was like, it's just so, it was so crazy for me at that time.
Yeah.
And like,
I had no idea.
I was so proud of myself afterwards. I was like, yeah, I hung out with a guy all day, and like, I feel like it was so good because I love activities. Like activities are so much better than just like going to a bar, having drinks. And so you were like kayaking, and I was like, great, we can do an activity, have a couple of drinks. Then we ended up walking around.
I planned the dolphins. Don't be the dolphins.
Walked around St.
There were no
Augustine.
dolphins.
No, I think there weren't there.
Yeah.
Or one of the times that we
Sure.
went kayaking, but we ended up going to St. Augustine and walking around, and it was great. And then I don't even know. Like from there, we just ended up hanging out.
Yeah, man, I
All
was
the time.
racking my brain nonstop because I was just like, how can I get another opportunity with you? And so I was like, man.
Well, you always came up with ideas, which I think is kind of hard. Like one of my girlfriends, like when she was dating, she just recently met somebody talking about Christina. And she would always be like, why can't someone just come up with a plan? She's very much a planner.
I like that.
I know. I guess I'm not so much like that. And like she needed to know like the exact times, but like you were like that for sure. You came up with ideas.
like
You
a
were
good
super
plan.
creative. Even that time that you were like, oh, we could go
We still haven't done it yet.
the go-karts.
Yeah,
We probably
yeah.
won't ever do it.
No, it's a good idea.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, you should just come over.
It was indoor. It was raining. Indoor. What can we do indoors?
Yeah.
Go-karts.
We could have wine and cheese.
That was a much better idea.
Yeah.
No, not just wine and cheese.
I had meat and,
No, not just meat.
okay, what else?
You remember?
Oh, a game.
So let me tell you, she set up this amazing wine and cheese board, or cheese and meat board with wine, which
With our massive board that I have.
it was amazing. It was like art. And then on top of that, she had this deck of playing cards that she had ordered, and it was of like get to know you, in-depth personal questions, some high level, some really deep stuff. Like she had no idea. I went home that night and told my friends, I was like, guys, this girl is so me.
But I should share that link with everybody because it is such a
that
good
card game is
conversation piece. Like they were questions that I would have never asked you. And
It was such a good blend because it was
Yeah.
like,
Casual
oh,
questions.
like, what's your favorite color, for example?
Yeah.
Probably not that, but something surface level. And then it was like, tell me a time you were really scared or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It was really, and
It
it's
wa-
like, it doesn't feel so invasive because it's just,
No, it didn't.
that's what the card said. So
Yeah.
you have to do it, right? It's not like it's personal.
but if I was like, oh, when was a time that you were very fearful? You'd be like,
That's
what?
weird, girl.
Yeah, so that was
It was good, yeah.
an awesome, perfect game, especially like meeting new people, I think was
Yeah.
great. But that's pretty much how we met, was through a mutual friend of ours, set us up, and the
That's
rest
all
is
she wrote.
history. Now we're getting married. Cheers to wrapping up this video of John making his cameo. It's okay, you can take a sip. And yeah, until the next one, right?
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.